Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for January 11th. We're looking at the US Japanese yen pair. We are looking for this pair to move as high as 92.47 and as low as 89.05. Now look for some resistance to come into this market around 90.33 and look for support around 89.74. This particular pair did gap down on the open. The odds are that by the end of the week it will fill that gap. Now switching to the Euro USD pair, if you recall from last Thursday, we talked about the fact that when you have an overextended bar, that it can, during a news announcement, that it can be very profitable when that occurs. And if you notice here, we have the announcement that was released. The FOMC announcement was released on this particular, during this particular bar, and at that point we have, at the close, we have an overextended bar dot that indicates that this bar is overextended. Well, if you look from the close here to this low, that is 25 pips worth of movement there. So if at this point, if you were to sell short and write it down just to the low, you would catch that 25 pip movement, and that would be, a quick 25 pips during a news announcement. But you're not right on top of the news announcement because you're at least 30 minutes after the news announcement for this next bar to open. So it gives you a little bit of gives the market a little bit of breathing room, decide where it's going to go, and then you have your indicator that allows you to know, okay, well, we did create an overextended bar, the news was significant, and at that point your odds go up that it's going to fill that gap between the close and the low in this particular example. So that's just a little something I wanted to we had talked about, and I wanted to show you how it actually played out there on Friday. Let's go to let's take a look at our ranges here. We're looking for this pair to move as high as 138.82 and as low as 132.79. Now look for some resistance around 135.42 and look for some support to kick in around 133.09. This pair is moving sideways for the most part. The bias is to the downside, and of course it did close lower on Friday, and we do have the gap that occurred at the open of this new session, and most likely it will retrace that gap prior to Friday at the close. Now looking at the pound US dollar, this particular pair we're expecting to move as high as 1.5501 and as low as 149.18. Look for some resistance around 152.16 and look for support around 149.92. Now if you notice, this pair also created an inside bar on Friday. This was Friday's session. We did create an inside bar, and when we if we get a break of that inside bar to the downside, I'll look for it to move to here, basically the open of this bar and the close of this one, and that'll be roughly 60 pip move. But if the market does come on down, kind of like it did here, I'm going to look for a break of this low and looking for it to run to this session's high for that window right there, that window of opportunity that's going to be created, and we'll try to take that out as well. Now let's switch over to the US Swiss. This particular pair closed up on Friday. It also gapped a little bit on the open. Most likely it will retrace it prior to the close on Friday. This pair is moving sideways. The bias is sideways at this time. We are looking for it to move as high as 112.83 and as low as 107.82. Now look for some resistance around 1.1187 and look for support around 110.69 in this particular pair. Well, that about does it for the charts today. We do have the Canadian dollar releasing their business outlook, future sales for the fourth quarter at 10:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Previous was 3, but there's no consensus as far as what this next month's numbers will be. The Canadian dollar is also releasing their Bank of Canada Senior Loan Officer Survey for the fourth quarter. That'll be released at 10:30 a.m. as well, Eastern Time. Consensus is that it has gone up from 49.8 to 55.0. These news announcements are not significant, or what I would consider significant as far as moving the market, but definitely worth noting. Well, that about does it for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.